Right.
Your
So
camera doesn't like you playing Magic because it always goes out of focus as
yeah,
soon as you.
it's really weird. It is. It's the weirdest friggin' thing.
Yes,
Uh,
you're playing Teval. I am playing Marneus Calgar. He's a Space Marine, so from the Warhammer 40K
ooh,
Commanders.
Warhammer.
So he is a 3/5 double strike, and he has two lines of abilities. The first one is whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under my control, I get to draw a card. And the second one is an activated ability. I can pay 6 generic mana to create 2/2 Space Marines with Vigilance. So
Oh,
essentially, yeah. So he costs 5 to play. He's white, blue, and black. Um, this deck is around me creating tokens with him on the battlefield, doubling tokens, drawing a bunch of cards, and sacrificing my tokens actually. There's and ways to reduce his abilities cost from 6 down to a minimum of 2 is what I can get to with what I have in the deck currently. So for 2 generic mana, I could create 2/2 warriors. Uh, I'll keep this hand. Essentially, this is the deck I built when I decided like I need something with a combo finisher in it.
hmm.
Um, yeah. Sometimes it does very little, and then all of a sudden there's a bunch of stuff happening.
All right.
If you want, I can point out the key pieces when I play them,
Yeah.
or you can figure it out. That's whatever you wish you prefer.
I think if you point it out to me, that'd be cool. It's nice to understand a little better.
Okay.
Okay, let's see here. I think I will keep my initial hand.
Okay.
Famous last
Let's
words, you
see.
know?
Hey, the phone still loves you. You go first.
Wow. Okay. All right. So I will play a forest. Pass turn.
Cards. I am going to play Command Tower and pass the turn.
Okay. Draw for turn. Um, I will play Crypt of Agadim. It's a land. Says this land enters tapped. I get to add a swamp, a black mana, or I get to play 2 mana and flip it and what do you call it again? Turn it,
Happen.
tap it. Thank you. For each black and add a swamp for each black creature card in my graveyard. So and pass the turn to you.
Okay. You did draw your card at the beginning of turn, right?
Yep, I did.
Okay. Draw. I'll play an island. I'll tap 2 to play this Orzhov Signet. It's I pay 1, I tap it, it gives me a black and a white. So essentially like the land you played last week, where you pay 1 and it gives you the colors. This
Mm-hmm.
is the artifact version of that. So
Gotcha.
go ahead.
All right, I'll untap and draw for turn. Nice. I'm going to play a foreboding landscape, which adds colorless mana. I can also sacrifice this land to search my library for a basic swamp, forest, or island card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. I can also do cycling. Um, so I would have to give a black, green, or blue mana to discard, and draw a card. So
Mhm.
got that. And with that, I'm going to play Nyx Weaver, which is my spider creature with reach. That's a 2/3. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill 2 cards. And I can also exile this creature to return a target land from a graveyard to my hand by giving 3 mana, 1 black, 1 green, and 1 undisclosed. Um, and for that, I have to tap these three. And pass the turn to you.
Tap, draw. I'll play planes. Then no, not planes. Oh yes, planes. Planes is fine. Then I'll tap this so I get white, black, and then black and blue. So I have two blue, two others. I will play Sheldreds, the Apocalypse. She is a 4/5 death touch. Whenever I draw a card, I gain 2 life. Whenever you draw a card, you lose 2 life.
Hmm.
And that's it. You can go.
Okay. Untap the turn. Draw.
Lose 2.
Okay. Those two, yep. Oh, sorry. And this, I forgot. At the beginning of my upkeep, mill 2 cards. Put the top 2 cards in. It says I have to do. So this first card
Return
actually.
the card that you drew, and then yeah, the card that you drew, it's one of the two you would have
Right.
had to mill.
Yeah, so I just put it. You want me to put it back in the deck, or do I just mill it
No, no,
now?
no. Put it in the graveyard. That's it's
Okay.
fine. That's because it
First one
would have been
is
milled.
Victimize,
Yep.
which is sorcery.
I got it.
And the second one is Putrefy, an
Got it.
instant, destroy target artifact or creature. It can't
Yeah.
be regenerated. Okay, now drawing for turn.
Mhm.
Okay, I will play a swamp. Not in my swamp. There. And then let us play. I will play my my commander, Teval, which is for a. Oh wait, no, I can't. I'm missing the island. Okay, then never mind. I will play the. Shucks. I will play the Woe Strider, which is 1 swamp, and then 2 others. So I'll play this one and the other one here. So that's that. This is the Woe Strider. It's a horror creature. When this creature enters, create a 0/1 white goat creature token. So this is my white goat. White goat creature with a 0/1. And then this one has a sacrifice function. I can sacrifice another creature to scry 1. And again, scry is just I look at it, right? I look at it and put it.
Leave it there or put it on the bottom.
Right. Okay, so I will do that. I will sacrifice my white goat,
Yep.
which means it just disappears in this case, right?
Yeah.
All right. Shouldn't have written it up anyway. Okay. And so I'll look at this card and then see what I want to do with it. All right, it'll stay. Okay, and then I would like to. What is the power of your card in play? The nightmare horror apocalypse there.
4.
Okay,
4/5 with death
then
touch.
okay, I'll leave it here. Your turn.
Okay. Untap, draw, gain 2 life. I'll play Prairie Stream for turn. It enters tapped unless I control 2 or more basic lands. So I have an island in the plains, so it enters untapped. Now I have 5. Pay 3 for Boromir, Warden of the Tower.
Mm.
Vigilance 3/3. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, and no mana was spent to cast it, I counter it, and I can sacrifice him to give my creatures indestructible, and the ring tempts me. And I have someone at the door. Give me a second.
Sure, I'll pause. All right, all good?
Yeah, all good. I am going to pass the turn.
Actually, I wanted to ask you something because I have several of these Lord of the Rings cards, and they say the ring tempts you. And I noticed
Yeah,
that there is like a card with it. So
yeah.
do you actually then have that card with you in every deck where you have a card like that?
If I do something with it, right? So in this case, this is the only card in the deck where the ring tempts me, and usually my things don't last long enough for the ring temptation to actually mean something. I usually ignore that unless I have multiple interactions with the temptation.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah. So in this case, I wasn't even going to read that line because it doesn't really matter here. Yeah. So unless the ring tempts me, if the ring temptation part actually means something in my deck, I usually ignore it, right? So it's
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So turn comes to me, so I'll untap, and this is the beginning of my upkeep. So I will technically the beginning of upkeep is before I untap, right?
It's untap, upkeep. So you
Okay,
first untap.
good. So I've
Yeah.
untapped, and now upkeep is I mill 2 cards. First card is command. Oh crap. Okay. First card is command tower. Didn't think of that. Second card is wonder. Creature
Excellent. You want that
incarnation.
in the graveyard.
What was that? Sorry?
You want that in the graveyard.
Yeah. So the wonder is a 2/2 flying creature. As long as this card is in your graveyard and you control an island, creatures you control have flying. Yeah. So now I just need an island. Okay, so that's my 2. Then I draw for turn.
And lose two.
Yeah, I do. Okay. Question. I cannot, so in this case, for example, this land says sacrifice this land, so tap and sacrifice. So I cannot use it, so I cannot use it to get mana and then sacrifice it. I have to either sacrifice or use it, correct?
That's correct. Last turn, when you tapped it for mana and you didn't use the green mana, you should have tapped it and sacrificed it to get that island.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's getting me now. Okay, well, that's what I'm going to end up doing now, I think. Because I made the mistake. I was the command tower. I was able to scry early, and I saw the command tower. I was like, great, and I'm like, oh no. Yeah,
Right.
that's really stupid. That was dumb. Okay, but anyway, that's we live, we learn. So I am going to sacrifice this land, search my forest for a basic land, and put it on the battlefield tapped. So,
Search your
uh,
deck, not your forest.
what
Do
did I
you have
say?
a forest? Search my forest for an
Oh,
island.
yeah. No, I'll search my deck for an island in this case. So just my island enters tapped. Okay, and then I shuffle. All right. So we're all in. And then this is a really dumb thing on my part the last turn. So it's gonna bite me in the you know what. Um Pass the turn to you.
At the end of your turn, I'm going to pay two. With Flash, I'm going to play a Fairy Mastermind. This is a 2/1 fairy, a flash flying. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, I get to draw a card. And I can pay 4, 3, and 1 blue to have each player to draw a card.
All right.
That's at the end of your turn. Go to my turn, untap, draw, gain 2. Play a swamp. And this costs. I'm going to pay 5, 3 black, and 2 more for an insatiable avarice. This is a card that costs 1 black, and then it has spree. I can choose to pay additional costs to have additional effects. So I've chosen to pay 2 generic extra and 2 black extra. That means that I get to first search my library for a card, shuffle my deck, and put that card on top. Then I get to draw 3 cards and lose 3 life.
Hmm.
Do I get to play it, or do you have a counter spell?
No, you play it. I want to see
All
where
right.
this is going.
So I'll find a card. Give me a second. Find the card. I'm going to find this card. Since it just says any card,
Hmm.
this is the card that's currently face down on my battlefield is the one I'm going to put on top after I shuffle.
Yes, sir. Understood. Man, this is going to cost me the game. The fact that I didn't do this with the island the turn before.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so I shuffled. I'll put this card on top, and now I get to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. I lose 3 life, 1, 2, 3, but then Sheoldred says I gain 2 life for each card I draw, so I'm going to gain 6 after I lost 3.
Nice.
So I found that card. I have it now in my hand, plus 2 others. And you have not much going.
Nope.
You have a 2/3 reacher and what is it? 2/2? No, 3/1, right? Is the one card.
It's a 2/3 and a 3/2.
All right. I am going to pass the turn.
All right. Untap, upkeep, mill 2 cards. It's Exotic Orchard and Conduit of Worlds. Conduit of Worlds says I can play lands from my graveyard. That's pretty cool. Okay, now I'm going to play my.
You're going to draw your card
Yeah, I'm going to draw my card. Yes, that's right. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
and then lose 2 life for it.
That's right. Okay, then I'm going to cast my Commander Teval for 1 forest, 1 black, 1 island. Sorry, for 1 green, black, 1 blue, and 1 whichever. So I'm tapping all of my lands for that. Teval, the balanced scale is a legendary creature spirit dragon with flying. And whenever Teval attacks, mill 3 cards. Then you may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. Which means right now, nothing happens. With him. And then I'm going to pass the turn to you.
Untap. Draw. Gain 2 life. I'm going to play this Choked Estuary. It enters, when it enters, I can show you that I have an island in my hand, so it enters untapped. So it enters untapped.
Excellent.
I'll pay
Check on my
4.
graveyard. Mm-hmm.
I'll pay 4 mana, and I'm going to play this Smothering Tithe. It's an enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws a card, he can pay 2 generic mana. If he doesn't, I create a treasure token.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
pass the turn.
Untap. Mill 2. First one is Steward of the Harvest. It's a human druid, 3/3. Second one is an island. Okay, now I'm going to draw my card, lose 2 life, right?
Okay. Are you going to pay 2 generic, or do I get to put a treasure into the battlefield?
You get to put a treasure.
Okay. So I create a treasure.
Okay. I'm going to play Skull Prophet, which is a human druid creature that allows me to add a black or green mana, or I can mill 2 cards. So I'm paying for that with my green and black. Okay. And then I'm going to pay my Crypt of Agadim. I'm going to tap on the island to play the Arcane Signet, which allows me to add 1 mana of any color in my command's color identity. And then I am going to move into the combat phase.
Yeah.
And so I will attack you with Teval, the balanced scale. And whenever Teval attacks, I get to mill 3 cards. First one is Lord of the Forsaken. It's a creature demon with flying and trample. Second one is Tear Asunder, an instant with a kicker, where I can exile artifacts or enchantments.
Yep.
That's 2. And then 3 is Myriad Landscape. This land enters tapped, and I can add a colorless mana. I can also sacrifice the land to search for up to 2 basic land cards. Okay, and then whenever 1 or more cards, whenever an attacks mill 3 cards, then you may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So I'm going to check which one of these I want to have enter tapped. So ideally, just talking it through, I should use a land, since it doesn't say a basic land card, I should use like a powerful land card, right? So like the Command Tower or the Foreboding Landscape, Exotic Orchard, right?
I would choose the Myriad Landscape.
Yes, that is the best choice. Sacrifice this land, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type. Because it enters now tapped, right?
Yep. It enters tapped anyway, so it's I mean,
Right. It enters tapped, but then
next turn you can pay 2, sacrifice and get 2 lands. And then you can do it again.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Okay, and so then since 1 or more cards has left my graveyard, I create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature. Black zombie druid. And that's a creature. With 2/2. Okay. All right. Right. And then
Teval has to be tapped because he is attacking.
yes. So he's attacking now. I will leave the other 2 as is. So you're being attacked by Teval.
I'll take 4.
Excellent. Okay, and then it's back to you.
All right. Untap, draw, gain 2. Oh, fantastic. I'll play an island for turn. Then I'll pay 5, the colors and everything for my commander. Marneus Calgar, 3/5 flying. Sorry, 3/5 double strike. Whenever one or more tokens enter under my control, I get to draw a card. And pay 6 to create 2 Astartes. Then I'm going to play 1 blue. I'm going to play Training Grounds. Training Grounds is an enchantment that says activated abilities of creatures you control cost 2 generic less to activate. This effect cannot reduce the mana cost to less than 1. So now this ability that cost 6 now only costs me 4. The ability for my Fairy Mastermind to pay 4 mana to have each player draw a card only costs me 2. So this in overall reduces my activated abilities and cost. It's a lot of value. So now I have a lot of value pieces on the board, just so you know. Smothering Tithe, whenever you draw a card and you don't pay the 2 generic mana, I will create a token. When I create a token, I will get to draw a card. When I get to draw the card, I get to gain 2 life.
Mm.
So, and I have a cost reduction for my activated abilities. None of this is going to kill you right out, but there's several pieces. These will interact with each other in different ways. So
Mm.
all of these are important to my deck.
Gotcha.
But to sort of protect it, I have Boromir on the table, which gives my creatures indestructible until end of turn. So I have a way to sort of protect my engine a little bit.
Until the end of
Uh,
your turn, basically.
yeah, but I can sacrifice them in response to whatever you do to have it be until the end of turn of whenever I do that. So yeah,
I don't think I
uh,
understand that. Could you explain that with Boromir?
I
Like,
can sacrifice them at any time, and until the end of the turn where I sacrificed him, my creatures are indestructible. So if you try to do something on your turn, in response, I can sacrifice him, and until the end of your turn, my things will be indestructible.
so in other words, I can't destroy any of your stuff unless I destroy Boromir.
Or you force me to sacrifice him so you can to set up. So this is my protection piece currently, right? So I'm just pointing it out. I don't know if you
Yeah.
can want to do something about it, but so I sort of like piece by piece have put together a little engine.
Yeah, I think I saw that most of the stuff. One thing, the card on your very left, that's next to your latest enchantment, that's also an enchantment.
Yes, these 2 are enchantments. I'm putting
Okay.
all my creatures up front. Most of my artifacts I usually put to my right, and these are enchantments in the second line. Since there's limited space because of the camera view,
Yeah.
I'll try to leave my enchantments together, my artifacts together, and my creatures up here. So
Gotcha.
down here, my mana.
So thanks for pointing this out. I'm just trying to understand this thing about Boromir, right? So suppose, I mean, because you're about to finish your turn, or what? Well, let's see. Let's say you finish your turn, it's my turn, right?
Let's use an example. In
Yeah.
your graveyard, you have Putrefy, right? Look at
Yeah.
that card in your graveyard. Putrefy says destroy target artifact or creature. It
Mm-hmm.
can't be regenerated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it was in your hand and you were saying, okay, I'm going to kill your Sheoldred. Okay, I can respond to that by sacrificing Boromir, and my Sheoldred will have indestructible, and your Putrefy will do nothing. And
Mm-hmm.
even if you try to do something else during that turn, once the Boromir ability has resolved, my Sheoldred and all the other creatures will be indestructible until the end of the turn where you played your Putrefy.
But you would have to sacrifice Boromir to do that.
That's correct.
Now, if I were to directly, so let's say I wanted to play Putrefy against Boromir itself.
Then the most likely thing that I would do is sacrifice him to give all my other stuff indestructible until end of turn, so that if you wanted to destroy all my things, you would have to do it the following turn.
I see.
But yeah, the best way would be either to destroy everything with something that gives my things negative, rather than destroy right out. because if you reduce the toughness of a creature to 0, it cannot be on the battlefield, even if it is indestructible. Or you take 2 turns to destroy my things, because Boromir will give me protection for 1 turn, essentially.
Okay. I can see where this is heading. All right. Well, thank you very much for the explanation. I appreciate that. I think I was pretty much all on, except I didn't understand the Boromir thing. So that's good to know. Okay. All right. Well, we're still on your turn, I think.
Yeah, I'm not going to attack. I'm going to give you the turn.
All right. So I'm going to untap. And then my upkeep, so mill first card is Phyrexian Reclamation. Basically pay a black mana and another mana to pay 2 life and pay 2 life to return a target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. Second card is Colossal Grave Reaver. Ooh. It's a creature dragon with flying and 7/6. When it attacks, it mills 3 cards. Whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from your library, put one of them onto the battlefield. Wow. Okay. Well, this is one I'd like back. Okay, so that's that. And next, I'm going to draw for turn.
Lose
Excellent.
2. Are you going to pay 2, or do I get to create a treasure?
You get to create a treasure.
All right. When I create a treasure, I get to draw a card from my commander. When I draw the card, I get to gain 2 life. Continue.
Okay. All right. I want to play Fetid Pools as my land. This land enters tapped, but it's I can get blue or black from it, and I can also cycle with 2 mana. Okay, now there's the big question. 1 second, I want to check my graveyard. So here's an interesting thing. I believe I have a good way forward to start and destroy things in the future. I'm wondering how much time I have left. 1 second.
Okay.
All right, I am going to play Diviner of Mist. Diviner of Mist is a creature dragon. So I'm gonna pay for that. So that's 1 blue. And wait. Hang on, if I do that, this would be these 4. Then I can't do the Myriad Landscape thing. You know, sorry, I think I will change that. Where did I put him?
You put him on the field.
Here, yeah. Okay, so let's see. So this one allows me to attack when it attacks. Okay, so never mind, I'm not doing that. Instead, I am going to play Okay. I'll screw it. I feel like I have to do something. I want to play Will of the Sultai. That costs me a forest and then 4 others. How many black creatures do I have in my second? Creatures.
Even if they have another color in their identity, like that dragon, which is green-black, it's still considered black.
Okay, so that's
So
1, This is an enchantment, so we're talking creatures. So one, two. That's it. So one, two, three. Oh, no, it's an instant. We're talking just creatures. So I
Two.
think, huh?
You wouldn't get much out of it because you have to pay two to activate the
Yeah.
crypto
So it doesn't really
packaging.
help me at
So
this point. But I
yeah,
still want to play.
to break even, you sort of like need three because the activation for crypto packaging costs two, plus it has to tap itself. So unless you have at least th with three, you break even. With four black creatures in the battlefield, you get plus one in it, right? So
Okay.
because
I don't have that. So I'm gonna do these
four, you need one
four.
more.
One more. Yeah. I'm gonna do the arcane signet.
Okay. I'm going to respond to your casting, so don't. We'll see if it resolves. I'm going
Okay.
to pay one, two, and the two treasures, uh, essentially giving me white, blue, black, and another black. And I'm going to play Deny the Witch. I'm going to counter that spell, and you lose life equal to the amount of creatures I control.
Okay.
Does that happen, or do you have a counter spell of your own to counter my counter?
So at this point, all of my mana is committed, so I can only work with the mana I haven't committed yet, right?
That's correct.
So then no.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to counter the Will of the Sultai, and you're going to lose four life, which is the amount of creatures that I have.
Wow. Okay. So that means Will of the Sultai goes into the graveyard, right?
That's correct.
And all my mana is still spent.
Yes.
Okay. Well, isn't that just peachy? Okay, good. Now we're cooking with gas. Well, then it means I need to move into my attack phase because I can't do this, unfortunately. All right, then I will attack with Teval the Balance Scale and my Black Zombie Druid. As that happens, I get to mill 3 cards. First one is a forest. Second one is a swamp. Well, here you all are. And the third one is, wow, Sunken Hollow. Okay. I get to put one of these lands here. So, Sunken Hollow. I guess the command tower would be best land to put in, right?
Yeah. It's the one that gives you the most consistent colors.
Yeah. And then I create another black zombie creature.
Yeah, don't bother making a new one. I'm going to block the one that's attacking me and kill it.
Oh,
So you can
okay.
use the same one.
Okay.
So just straighten it, just untap it, and then I'll take the damage from Taval.
Okay.
Your zombie druid's going to die.
Okay. And then so this is the new zombie druid.
Yes.
Wow. That really screwed me. Honestly, the thing that screwed me, like we said earlier, is the fact that I didn't do this to convert to the island the one turn before. Because
Yeah, it set you back 2 turns by not doing
yep,
it.
exactly. Well, good lesson. All right. So then that's the end of my turn. Pass to you.
All right. I untap. I draw. I gain 2 life.
That was a good counter.
Yeah, I was thinking that, yeah. Thank you. I'm going to play a swamp. Okay, I'm going to pay 3 plus 5. So I'm going to pay 8 mana and for this enchantment. It's called Defenders of Humanity. When Defenders of Humanity enters, I create X little white Astartes creature tokens with vigilance. X being 5 in this case. That's what I paid.
Mhm.
It has an activated ability that I can pay X at the same cost essentially again to exile the enchantment to go to do the same effect again. So I can, yeah. Right now I will create 5 Astartes warriors with vigilance. So just to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are all 2/2s with vigilance. Yeah. When a token enters under my control with my commander, I get to draw a card. When I draw a
Mhm.
card, I get to gain 2 life. So I now have that. Um, then I would like to move to combat.
All right.
I would like to attack you with my commander, who's a 3/5 with double strike. That means he hits 2 times.
So I have a damage of 6.
Yeah, you can block him. He doesn't have trample or anything like that. But since he has double strike, he will hit 3 as if we had first strike and then 3 again, just in case you block. That's I get to
So
hit first, essentially.
okay. So meaning I'll take at least one of the damages unless I block him with another creature.
If you block with one creature, then you will get no damage whatsoever because he doesn't have trample. But
Gotcha.
whatever you put in front of him, he will hit his 3 damage first, and then he will hit it again when regular
Gotcha.
damage occurs.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's the only attacker you have?
That's the only one I'm going to declare, yes.
Okay. Then I will block with my black zombie druid creature.
All right, your zombie dies.
Yes, sir.
And that's the end of my attack. And also, I will end my turn right there.
Okay. Okay, then I'll untap.
So as not to bulk the table too much, I'm going to put a die on my Astartes warrior, so to signify that there's 5 of them.
Excellent. All right. Then after upkeep, at the beginning of upkeep, I mill 2 cards. This is Floral Evoker, which is a creature snake druid with landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And also, I can pay a forest to discard a creature card. Return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Okay. So there's that. And the second one is Necropolis Fiend. Delve. It's a creature demon with 4/5, and it says Delve. Each card you exile from your graveyard while casting the spell pays for 1 mana. And it says flying X plus tapping. Exile X cards from your graveyard. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. Okay. So, I mean, I can't play this card right now, but basically it would be, and you would need 9 mana for this. And basically, I could choose to play it and say exile X cards from your graveyard. So I still have to pay for it.
No, so the ability that he has that's in the text box,
Mm-hmm.
the one that has X and tap, you can only do that if he's on the battlefield because he has to tap itself. So he has to be on
Gotcha.
the battlefield.
So,
But
but then,
the one the thing that you can do to cast him, see he has 7 and black in his casting cost, right?
mm-hmm.
So you can exile up to 7 cards from your graveyard to reduce that 7 before the black to 0, but you still have to pay the black.
Gotcha.
So it's one way to use your graveyard, and then he can give something -X if he's on the battlefield, right? So that's something that can get around indestructible, FYI.
Yeah, that's why I was just looking at it. That's nice. But he's in my graveyard right now. Okay. Then I will draw for turn.
Lose two.
Yeah.
Do you pay two or do I get to create a treasure?
1 second, I have to decide that. I think I'll pay.
Okay.
So in this case, it's whichever really, right?
Yeah.
So
Whatever
I'll do
mana you
the
want.
arcane signet and the crypt of Agadim. All right, I'm like sweating literally. Okay. The thing is, there's a lot of really good cards here, and I don't quite understand a lot of them. So it's like, you know,
Yeah, I get that.
interesting. So here's sort of my dilemma, right? I mean, just as we're talking about it, I basically have like 3 cards, all of which could do probably a part of what I need to have happen, but it's a lot of it is like dependent on what kind of cards I draw, you know?
Hmm.
I have one card which has an ability that says connive, and I don't quite understand it. It says here, um, each creature that convoked the spell connives, and it says that I draw a card, I assume for each one, then discard a card. And if I discard a non-land card, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature.
Yeah. So what's the problem with that? Seems you go through steps. So it has convoke.
Mm-hmm.
So convoke means you can tap a creature to help reduce the cost of its casting cost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you tap a creature, then after it convoked or after you cast a spell, it will also connive. So you get to draw a card and then discard a card. If you discard a non-land card, then it gets a counter.
Yeah,
So it's a sequence, right? So if nothing convokes, then nothing gets to connive. But if you convoke with everything, then everybody connives. So
gotcha.
it's an option to you. It's not obligatory.
Gotcha. Okay, I think I got what I need to do. I'm hoping. All right, so I will play. I don't recall if I drew for turn, but I must have. I must have.
You
Okay,
did because I took your life.
that's right.
And
Okay,
you paid two mana, so I don't get a treasure.
yeah. Okay, so I will pay Diviner of Mist, which is I'll use the blue here, and then it's 1, 2, 3, and I'll use this one 4. Yeah. So, Diviner of Mist is a creature dragon, the 4/5, and it's flying. When this creature attacks, mill 4 cards. Oh, I see. When it attacks. Okay, that doesn't really help, does it? Well, I have to try. Okay. Whenever this creature attacks, mill 4 cards, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard with mana value 4 or less without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Okay. So here we have those. Um, and then and he's got summoning sickness right now, so that's the part where I can't use him. Okay. And then next, I want to. So here's my question. For fetid pools, it doesn't say. Oh no, wait, not this one. Where is it? It's Myriad Landscape, right? It says I have to turn it. Okay. So then it's a moot point. I can't do that. Okay. 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 We'll be fine, I think. All right. Good. So there's that. Then I'm going to attack with Teval, which nets me a. Oh, not yet. No, I get to um, mill 3 cards. First card is an instant Grizzly Salvage. Second one is Kotis Sibzik Champion. I think that's my other commander. Legendary creature 3/3. And one more is a swamp. Okay. And then I get to take one of these and put him back on the place here. Tapped in this case. Still, like the lands that give me numerous things are better overall, right? So I have the Sunken Hollow I can use, or I have well, foreboding landscape. So actually I think the Sunken Hollow is the best one to do. Enters tapped, and I get a Black Zombie Druid creature that also has Summoning Sickness. And so I'm attacking you with Teval.
Yeah, tap him, please.
Yes, sir.
I'll take the damage.
Excellent. And I pass the turn to you.
Right. On tap. Draw. Gain 2 life. I'm going to play a swamp for my land for turn. I'm going to sacrifice Boromir to give my creatures indestructible until end of turn.
Okay.
Yep. Then I'm going to pay 4, 2 white and 2 more. I'm going to play a Wrath of God. I'm going to destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated, but my creatures are indestructible, so only your creatures die.
Wow. And they can't be regenerated, you say. So it also goes, so my commander goes in the command zone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I can regenerate the commander if I can pay for him.
Regenerate is an ability. This is an old template. New cards don't have the regenerate ability anymore, but you can't regenerate them as in save them with the ability if they had regenerate. It's a
I see.
keyword
I see.
that
So that means these just go into the
graveyard.
graveyard. Okay.
That's
And then
right.
my Black Zombie Druid would have to disappear, I'm assuming, since he's a token creature.
Correct.
Wow.
And
Damn.
then I'm going to pay 3 white, black, and 1 more. I'm going to play Commissar Severina Rain. When she attacks, uh, each opponent loses X life, where X is the amount of other attacking creatures. But she is not going to attack this turn because she doesn't have haste. At this point, I would like to move to attacks.
Go right ahead.
So I'm going to attack you with the 10 2/2s and these other 3 creatures. That's yeah, that's my attackers. Do you have any
10 2/2s? I thought it's 5 2/2s. So it's 10.
it's 10 damage, sorry.
Oh.
So it's 10, 14, 15, 16 plus 6. It's 22 damage coming at you. Do you have anything to do before damage? Your Skull Prophet is dead, by the way.
Skull
He's a
Prophet.
creature.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I have nothing to defend, so I'll take the damage.
Before the damage, I'll pay 2 to activate the ability of my Fairy Mastermind. You and me, we both draw a card.
All right.
When you draw the card, you lose 2 life. I gain 2 life. You pay 2 mana to avoid me getting a treasure.
I don't have 2 mana to spend, my friend, so no.
I get a
Nice.
treasure, I get to draw a card, I get to gain 2 life, and then I hit you
Oh,
for
man.
22.
Dude, GG. Well done. I'm dead. That is just, wow. That was a big kill. Nice job.
Yeah, that's yeah. Sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry. That's great. I mean, it's like uh, I feel like dancing. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So really, really nice. So my big mistake was not getting my island by converting that earlier because I could have cast Teval. And then on the next turn, I actually next turn or one after, actually I had casualties of war. So I was going, and it's like I was seeing whole stuff building, and there's two mistakes I made. One is I was looking at, oh, I want to wait till he also has an artifact. Oh, I want to wait till he also has a such and such. But in
Well,
truth,
the artifact. Okay, so my first play was the signet, which already was an artifact.
mhm,
My second play was Sheldred.
yeah, the
Already
creature.
there, Casualties of War was worth it because every time you drew a card, it would hit you for two,
Yeah,
right?
and so and the first thing is I didn't notice that the first one wasn't. I mean, notice I didn't pay it. It's hard to keep all
You
that
didn't
straight.
process it. If
Yeah,
you didn't process it,
that's the
that's
first thing. And then the second thing simply was if I would have, but even so, I mean, this thing costs six, so I didn't have six mana then, right? So
yeah.
that was a big thing, and yeah, so that was I couldn't cast Teval. So Casualties of War was one I was going to play. Then, if you hadn't had that card to nix essentially my spell, which was the Will of the Sultai, that would have been the thing to do that because I was either between Will of the Sultai or that dragon. But the truth is, it didn't matter which one I played. You would have counted either one, and I would have been in the same situation. So by you having that card, it almost doesn't matter.
I had the Wrath of God in hand, and I had Boromir on the table. So, and your dragon had to attack to have its effect.
Right,
So I could have done stuff on my turn, but the Will of the Sultai would have given your Teval at that point at least +6/+6.
right,
Well, actually more because it would return you would mill, return all lands, and then give one creature all those counters.
right,
I would have been dead on attack unless I blocked or I killed him.
right,
So that one for me was like my counter spell was not cheap either, right? So it
right,
was 4 mana when counter spells are usually the best when they're free and then playable up until where they cost two. But I play that spell because it's thematic for my deck,
right, right.
not so much because it's hyper efficient. So I like playing that card. So yeah, I had the Wrath of God in hand to like set up my play because I had Boromir and I had that counter spell and I needed to bide my time. Like Teval is a 4/4, so he needs to hit me on his own 6 times to kill me, right? By commander damage. So, but if you had inflated him at that point to you had 5 lands in your graveyard, so plus 11/11. So you would have been a 15/15. He doesn't trample. Sure, I could have blocked him, but this was to the point that this was demoralizing for you, right? Because you spent all that mana for nothing. So that's why I asked, like, do you have a counter spell of your own? I think there's
Yeah,
one or two in the deck,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
I
so that
don't, yeah, I hate it when people do it to me because that essentially was your game-winning play,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. But
And
that's
like not this turn, but the turn after.
yeah,
But this is also my most, so I built this deck because I don't have a deck that I consider to win by combos. Most of my decks are highly synergistic. This one has several ways to create an infinite amount of something. Infinite amount of creatures, infinite amount of cards that I draw, and then also infinite amount of damage derived off of one of those. And there's at least 10 different variations of a combo in here. So there's multiple pieces that interact with one combo or another. It's not meant to be fast, but this is another one of those decks that can survive at low life because it recovers life and it punishes you for a certain place. And it's not my highest winning rate deck because there's also a lot of moving pieces on this. That's when I said like I don't have much, but all of these things interact with each other, right? They
yeah,
will benefit one way or another. I don't like to play this with my play group. quite honestly, because there's just so many effects that can stack up, and then to resolve them becomes a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
It's the deck that I have with the most expensive cards in it.
nice. Well, it was a
Because
great
of how much
play,
of it.
and I just
So,
realized like this is I didn't see it. I didn't see at that time, to actually sacrifice, like, pay the two to get the island. That would have been good at that time. But even after that, so it's kind of interesting. Of course, you got me with that play. Not having that one man at that point was really, really detrimental. And the other mistake I made was I was okay
right.
with the huh? Yeah, yeah.
The
With the thing
scry
with
where you threw away the
the
command
command
tower.
tower, yeah. Because I was like, oh man, yes. So it's like, oh, I didn't even give it a second thought because I have the command tower. I was like, oh my God. So it's one of those rare moments when a great card ability that you have screws you over. So that really got me. So here at the end now, here's the interesting thing. Like after you got me with the Will of the Soul tile, like that didn't resolve. The turn after I played that dragon, right? Now, here's my question to you. Um, I could have done one of the following. I could have either not paid the 2 mana to let you take a card, right? So do the whole treasure thing, right? So I could have done that. If I had not done that, I would have been able to play Casualties of War. So now the Casualties of War wouldn't have helped me really because you would have simply sacrificed Boromir at that time. So that didn't seem like a very good play to me. The other thing,
Boromir protects creatures. So
I
you wouldn't
see.
have been able to kill the creature, but everything else it targets, yes.
Okay, so then that would have so to your into your mind, because it seems to me like okay, that's something I didn't realize. But suppose I had realized it.
You would have targeted Boromir anyways. With the casualties of war, you have to choose the option, right? Would
Right.
you have chosen any creature other than Boromir? Because
No.
the idea there was to get out of Boromir, right?
Right.
So for me, I would have sacrificed him just to give everything else indestructible, just in case you had a follow-up play.
So
So
actually,
Boromir would have left the battlefield and the other things that you would have
mm,
targeted. The artifact enchantment, does it target land?
so actually it targets artifact, creature, enchantment, land, and planeswalker. It targets all of them.
Right. So I didn't have a planeswalker, so it would have effectively all the things that you would have targeted would have been gone. The
Yeah.
question is, would that have been enough?
And I don't know. I think it was too late in the game. But now that I think about it, between that and the dragon, this would have been the better play because the dragon would need to attack. I needed to go for the next turn for it, right?
What else was in your hand?
Yeah, and so this is the other thing. So I could have done this, or I didn't have enough mana for both of them, or I could have again let you have your card and play Lord of Extinction, and that was what I was thinking about. But I didn't do it because I mean this would have been crazy because I had so many cards in my graveyard. You had a few in yours. This would have been crazy because Lord of Extinction, you're familiar, right? So
Yeah.
this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in all graveyards. So and it starts. I mean, I mean, that would have been a crazy thing,
It's a
right?
flying star. The
There's
problem
no
with a
flying
lot
in
of
this. There's no flying on this one. It's an
the
elemental,
problem is, yeah, in that case, it's much worse nowadays. It doesn't have haste. It doesn't have trample. It doesn't
right?
have flying. So it's a huge thing that I can block with a mushroom.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. So it's like, okay, I could do this, and so I feel good about myself having a huge creature on board. But all you need is destroy target creature, or like you said, just block it since I can't do anything with it now. If I had a companion piece that says your creatures have haste, or something like that, or your creatures have haste
Well,
and trample, you know?
it's well, I said it has flying because what creature was in your graveyard? Wonder. All your creatures had flying.
Yeah. Okay. So I can definitely see like if I were to actually process all the information that's there, and I know I'm not, like there's so much stuff going on. I totally get thrown off,
But there was a lot on your end, right? And then you're not getting, and it's not you're not really getting into like processing what I was doing, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, you need to first get a handle on your triggers,
Yeah.
right? So when I said, yeah, you want Wonder in your graveyard, you didn't have the island then, but so the misplays. You played the Nyx Weaver as your first creature, but you had no way of interacting with your graveyard, and you were not prepared to play your commander at that point. So you had the potential to lose a lot of things that could help you to further your gameplay.
That's a
So is
good
it a bad
point.
card? Is it a bad card? Not at all, right? But
Mm,
it is something like where you need to be prepared to deal with its negative effect,
yeah,
right?
and I didn't even see that it
You
would
were
be
not
have.
set up yet. If you just wanted a 2/3 blocker with reach, it would have been important that if I was playing my dragon deck, so you could block my little dragons, right? To avoid damage. But there
Mm,
you could have waited on that. The Woe Strider Watch was much better because it created two creatures and it gave you a way to potentially like make a synergistic play where sacrificing something to scry, which you never did again. Like when I killed your druid, you could have killed your own druid just to scry,
mm,
just to see what was there. It would have still have died. Nothing bad would have happened. But there are things like you need to the play you're doing now is because of what is available to you, right? And life is a resource, cards are a resource, graveyard is a resource, mana is a resource. Uh, when you pay like paying for the smothering tithe is a good idea usually, right? There comes a point where it's like, okay, so I already had 10 mana in my lands. So how much did I depend on those tokens? I used them. I didn't need them, right? And mostly I use it so I could get to draw cards with my commander in this deck. The acceleration is wonderful and it's powerful. But after a certain point, it's like, even if I pay, it doesn't make much of a difference. It's much more important to pay for that in a multiplayer game. Because if I play it and then three other people go and nobody pays, I'm all of a sudden 3 mana ahead. But in one-on-one, if you only draw one card in a turn, I get one more mana, right? Which can be impactful. But I also had a way to make you draw cards, and if you couldn't pay for it, I would have created it. So I didn't want you to draw too many cards because you could have found something that could have.
yeah,
There's a toxic deluge in that deck,
yeah, yeah.
which would have completely invalidated my indestructibility. So,
Toxic deluge is so it just goes minus so and so much, right? It doesn't say
yep,
destroy.
you pay life and to give everything minus X
Yeah,
minus X.
yeah. I mean, I'm
It's one of
thinking.
the best board wipes in the game because it
Yeah,
is first off it's variable, then it's cheap. It's 2 + 1 black, and you can choose like in whatever like I'm going to die next turn because that 13/13 is going to attack me, but I have 20 life. Would I rather die next turn or pay 13 life to maybe get a turn after the next one, right? So anyways, that's misplaced not so much. I think you just stopped reading. You didn't remember what your cards did after you read them.
yeah. I think so. Definitely, I think there's two actual misplays in the game. The first one is what you said. I played the spider right at the beginning, thinking like, "Oh, it's great. I get to put cards in my graveyard." But the truth is, actually, at that point, I was still in an early game, and I would have really depended on getting cards. And I only saw, okay, more cards come out. So if I don't get lands, I didn't even think to say like, "Oh, maybe it'll bury all my lands." And also, I was already ahead. It's like, oh, I'm going to cast Teval anyway, so I'm going to get my land back, no problem, right? So that was that. That's the first, definitely a misplay. Then the second one was not getting the island, and that's the big one. I think after that, honestly, there was just a lot of trying to protect and whatnot. I couldn't really get more creatures out. Basically, after I couldn't get the island that one turn early, you basically had I was on the back foot. You had me on the back foot, and you really kept the pressure on very well. And I kept on trying to see when can I play Casualties of War, and that was another miss, not play, but a miss not play. By basically saying I should have just played it no matter what to actually debilitate some of what you have because you were just building up your engine, and at that point there was nothing more to do.
Get Boromir off the board because that's just a protection you can see. I have more protection in the deck,
Yeah,
but if you already can see that this will impede your play, then and it only protects creatures,
yeah.
right? So and if you
That's the one
target
I
him,
definitely did
I'll
not. I did not
sacrifice an
consider
engine.
that. Yeah, I did not consider it only protects creatures. You know what I mean? And even then,
Yeah,
the truth is, even then, even if I would have not this, even all the things you're pointing out for me right now, like this, would have done that. It's like I this game, I was definitely behind. I was completely behind. There was too much going on that I wouldn't say I didn't pay attention to it. It's just I didn't even know to pay attention to it. You know what I mean? It was just um, too much on the back foot, I think. And you did a great game. That was pressure on,
It's
you
too
know?
many. I mean, this is the deck with too many triggers in it. I mean, there's
Mm,
just so many. I have incremental value in this deck. It's not one big bomb, and there isn't one. There isn't one thing that I will always find to win the game. The card I went to look for was the Smothering Tithe, so I could get
mm,
the treasure, so I would have passive token generation, which gives me cards. Because I could have gone for something that would have been a big splashy play and had more stuff to do. But this is, I mean, this is also something that you can face, right? So is this a top tier deck? Oh, not consistently, no. But it is like this is the counterpart to my mono green deck. Mono green, big creature, go smash. This is a value pile. This has so many avenues and lines of play that unfortunately it's not consistent because there are so many lines of play. But it has a lot of cool cards that I like, that I enjoy, that I usually don't play, um, because of the power level that they represent in my mind, at least. So
yeah. That was very cool.